Good morning. It's 9 a.m. and I will call to the order the February 11th meeting of the Saline County Board of Commissioners. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Shadwick?
Here.
Commissioner Grievous?
Here.
Commissioner Sparks?
Here.
Commissioner Weiss?
Here.
Commissioner Hay?
Here.
Would you please stand for the flag salute and followed by a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Okay, not February, it's April 8th, isn't it? It's like, well, she has this all printed out wrong. Thank you. And at this time, we'll move into the public forum where anyone has 3 minutes to speak on any items not pertaining to what's on the agenda today. Please state your name and address.
Kelly Dunn, 1216 Shoreline Drive, Salina. And thanks for letting me get up here and talk. I'm part owner of Southview Estates and Stone Lake Estates, and I'm kind of here to talk about the Schilling Road between Ohio and I think probably the Radio Flyer Club out east of there. And it's just a dust bowl every day. And I know the county owns the road and it's city property on each side, but something really needs to be done about the dust. It would be great if we could get it paved. I did look up in the KDHE, and there is a reference in there, you know, about the ambient air quality, and specifically pertains to that. I think I can read it to you if you'd like to hear it. I can tell you what it's provision 2819-13.
And we know all about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you do. I don't need to read it, but it's just a dust bowl every day of the week. And you know, we got 108 residences at Southview. I think we have about 120 at Stone Lake right now, but there'll be 250 in probably the next 5 to 10 years. And I get complaints and I go, I can't do nothing about it, but I guess I'm here for all the people that complain to me about it, and hopefully we can get it paved or at least get something done to keep the dust down every day. You know, the trucks run up and down there all day long, and I live out there and I blow off a pound of dirt off my back porch every day, every week. And one thing that it just doesn't make sense to me, how we got in the county, we got water well paved from Ohio all the way out to Simpson, and there may be 10 residences out there, but yet we can't do nothing about that road, and that kind of bugs me too. So I guess, I don't know if my 3 minutes are up, but that's what I have to say, and I'd answer any questions if you have any, or if you have any ideas.
Well, and all I can say is that it's in the radar, and it's been discussed a lot of times between the city and the county and everything. So it is on the talk. And at this point, we have a lot of issues all over the county with the dust problems, but that is another major one, and it is being discussed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's surrounded by, you know, it's going to be close to 300 houses, and it's just not feasible to have that in the city limits, I think. Even the city's in the county, so, I mean, it's all in the county, so I think it's something that needs to be done pretty quick.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Rosemary Mice, Salina, Kansas. I wanted to invite you and the public to the Granny Brigade's April meeting, and it's Tuesday, April the 15th at 7 o'clock at the Carver Center, 315 North 2nd Street, and our guest speaker is going to be Kim Borchers, and she's going to be talking on human trafficking. And we're situated between I-135 and I-70. I think this is a very important topic for people to attend. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. I'm Joshua Swati, not from Saline County, from Ellsworth County, here to gently encourage you to have the Planning Commission meet as soon as possible. I don't think that they have a meeting scheduled for April in regards to the vote that you took last week concerning the regulations for battery energy storage. I think that, and we are compiling them now, but that body, the Planning and Zoning Commission, spent more than 6 months working on those. They listened to the public on every occasion, and most of the people that spoke in front of you last week were the ones that spoke in front of them multiple times, and they took that input and debated the very issues that were discussed last week at length. And then came up with those regulations. And so this industry, like all others in the United States right now, are dealing with some external trade forces at the federal level, and there's a lot of uncertainty. And so we would like to make things as certain as possible at the local level as soon as possible. And so it would be nice to have that body be able to look at the things that you asked them to look at and then have that returned to you as soon as possible, rather than dragging that out a long time, because we had around a 6-month process while they developed those regulations. They did a really good job. They sent them to you. There was a bit of a pause before you took a vote on it, which is fine. But then we don't want this to extend into another multi-month pause. If possible, have that turned around through the Planning Commission as soon as possible, because in my opinion, they did do a really nice job and considered all of the things that were brought forward to you by the general public that brought those same things forward to them during that 6-month process. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Hearing none at this time, let's see, it's like we'll move into the consent agenda. And at this time, the consent agenda is the approval of tax roll adjustments, the approval of accounts payable, approval of public forum agenda, approval of county commission meeting minutes of March 24th, approval of county commission meeting minutes on March 24th, 25, the joint meeting, the approval of the county commission minutes of March 25th, and the approval of township board appointment Karen Vidrickson, Solomon Township Clerk. Is there anyone from the county that has delete or add to the consent items?
I'd just like to make one comment on the last one on the board appointment. I'm really glad to see we got some people stepping forward to, to fill some of these positions. If there's anybody out there in one of the townships that could help us out and step into some of these positions, we would really appreciate it. So thank you very much, Karen, for doing that.
Okay. If hearing none, could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, we'll move into the action items. Item 1.
Child Abuse Prevention Month Proclamation with Paul Forrester, Executive Director of CAPS.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Are you close to getting a pie in your face, or where are you at? Do you have any idea?
I haven't seen you donate yet. Just waiting to see that
I
name come
deserve
across
that.
with some money.
Okay. All right. And do I get to throw the pie?
That costs extra. But yeah, if you want to pay me some extra money,
I don't
sure.
believe you. I think you're just making money, but okay.
Gee, rough crowd. Thank you for having me this morning. Whereas we are living in a time when disclosures of sexual abuse and harassment are becoming mainstream, child sexual abuse still lives in secrecy and shame. And whereas children have a right to be safe and to be provided an opportunity to thrive, learn, and grow, and whereas child abuse and neglect can be prevented by supporting and strengthening Saline County families, thus preventing the far-reaching effects of maltreatment, providing the opportunity for children to develop healthy, trusting family bonds, and consequently building the foundation of communities. And whereas by providing safe, stable, and nurturing relationships for our children, free of violence, abuse, and neglect, we can ensure that Saline County's children will grow to their full potential as the next generation of leaders, helping to secure the future of this state and nation. And whereas there were 1,170 cases of child abuse and neglect investigated by the Department of Children and Families in Saline County in 2024, And whereas Child Advocacy and Parenting Services Incorporated, also known as CAPS, provides both prevention and intervention programs designed to reduce risk factors associated with child abuse and neglect while focusing on educating parents and empowering children. And whereas CAPS conducted forensic interviews for 120 child victims of abuse or neglect and or witnesses to a violent crime, and provided 1,067 units of professional advocacy in 2024. Many of those victims also received a medical exam and care by trained sexual assault nurse examiner on the sexual assault response team, referral to trauma-focused mental health services, and follow-up supports. These services are delivered through a multidisciplinary collaboration between City of Salina and Saline County Law Enforcement, CAPS, Salina Regional Health Center, the Department of Children and Families Child Protective Custody, Saline County Attorney's Office, Central Kansas Mental Health, and private therapists trained to use trauma-focused practices. And whereas CAPS began as a child abuse prevention coalition in 1978, the agency has a vision of a place where every child is safe, healthy, and strong. CAPS hopes to shine a light on abuse to create awareness and increase support through the following public events: Go Blue Salina Denim Days. Businesses encouraging employees to wear blue jeans or royal blue can collect funds for CAPS and spread awareness by taking photos of employees showing their blue support. Each participant will get a sticker to wear showing they believe every child should be safe and loved. Shine a light for survivors. Citizens are encouraged to turn their porch lamps or a room in their home blue during the month of April to light the way for child sexual abuse victims and help them shine. Blue light bulbs are available for purchase at CAPS. Pinwheels for Prevention Challenge. A pinwheel garden can be purchased by individuals who wish to plant the garden in their yard to show they believe in creating spaces where every child is safe, healthy, and strong. Pinwheel planters are available for businesses to rent for their lobbies or windows, and information about these gardens and planters can be found at www.capsofsalina.org. Therefore, I, Roger Sparks, Chairman of the Saline County Commission, Saline County, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and encourage our citizens to lift up a child's voice.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any other programs or things going on this month?
So as Annie pointed out, we had a new program that we're going to do. It's called Pies for Prevention, and you can get on, and there's 6 advocates, myself, Alexis Baeza, who's an advocate at CAPS, and then we have Captain Jeremiah Hayes from the Sheriff's Department and Detective Brandon Mosier, right? And then who's Danny Lemon, a detective from the police department, and Randy Constantino from the police department. So you go on and you can donate money, and whoever ends up with the most donations, we're going to put a pie in the face of the top 2. So as soon as Annie gives me a bunch of money, I should win, and then she can put a pie in my face. So.
I'm going to go on today.
I think you should.
I'm going to. You shame me, I'm going to. You're right.
That's fine.
No, it's fine.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is there anyone else from the public who'd like to say anything? Any comments from the commission? Do I hear a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I move we proclaim April as a Child Abuse Prevention Month.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to proclaim April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And I have a... Mr. Forrester, thank you.
Appreciate it.
You betcha. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute.
Thank you.
Hey, Paul. You betcha. Okay. Thank you. Item 2.
National County Government Month Proclamation with Hannah Bett, Deputy County Administrator.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties serve more than 330 million Americans by providing essential services that help create healthy, safe, and thriving communities. And whereas counties carry out a broad range of responsibilities and deliver services that impact nearly every aspect of residents' daily lives, including public safety infrastructure, public health, emergency management, economic development, and much more. And whereas counties partner with local, state, and federal governments to implement programs that meet the needs of all residents, and whereas Saline County, Kansas, home to more than 50,000 residents, takes pride in its role of protecting and enhancing the health, well-being, and safety of its residents in a physically responsible and effective manner. Whereas Saline County provides key services such as road and bridge maintenance, law enforcement, emergency response, public health initiatives, and programs that support families, veterans, and businesses. And whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to highlight the critical work of county governments and the services that they provide. And whereas Saline County continues to prioritize transparency, efficiency, and innovation in delivering services that benefit residents and strengthen the community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Saline County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim April 2025 as National County Government Month in Saline County, Kansas, and encourage all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to take part in recognizing the vital role of county government in our daily lives.
Okay. Do you have any other programs or anything going on with this?
We do. On our social media pages, we've been doing some employee highlights from different departments, different employees. Also have a couple of different radio slots that are scheduled to talk about everything that's happening in the county. And then our employee engagement team is also involved in doing some fun things for county employees this month.
I read the email about the eggs. I think that is very fun.
It was quite an exciting day yesterday.
I bet it was fun. Yeah, I appreciate you doing that.
Yes. Okay. Are there any other questions or comments by the commission? Anyone? Oh, yes. I was just going to say, is there any comments from the public? Okay. I'll bring it back to the commission for discussion of
Mr.
possible
Chairman, I
action.
move we proclaim April as National County Government Month.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to proclaim April as National County Government Month. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
There's still eggs to be hunted.
Oh, there are? So my time's not up? I can still get an egg? Can you give me a clue? What building?
Okay, item 3.
Trinity, addendum to food contract with Rosie Welter, Senior Services Director.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good
Rosie.
morning, Commissioners. Senior Services is requesting County Commission approval to sign an addendum to the Trinity Services Group food contract. The addendum provides for cost and billing of food items that were not included in the original contract that we signed on January 2nd of 2025. The items that on the addendum are the entree and then a side dish. So $1.85 for an entree and $1.25 for a side dish. The alternatives for action: approve the addendum as submitted by staff or ask staff to seek an alternative. The staff recommendation: approve the addendum as submitted by staff. The original contract did not provide a billing method for the entrees or the side dishes that patrons may add to their meal. The budget impact: the a la carte menu expenses will be paid out of the budgeted food item from the Senior Services County approved budget. And then I will say that we actually charge $3 for an entree to the public or for anyone. It's not included in the subsidized. And then the side dishes, we charge $1.50.
Okay. So I just want to ask so with that in mind, so pretty much all of that cost will be paid for by the patrons
Yes.
getting those foods?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Just didn't foresee it,
Yeah.
in the original contract, so,
Okay.
yes.
So this is a request of someone who comes through the food line that just wants an entree.
Yeah, and then when we do, or we have somebody that really loves fried chicken or whatever we're having for an entree, so they want extra.
They want a second.
Yes.
Okay.
That's just
All right.
outside of the subsidized.
But when you say it'd be paid out of your budget,
The budget
how
actually.
does that even apply? Because there isn't an entree until someone requests it,
Yeah.
And once they request it, they pay for it. So
It's just, what I mean by that is that everything food-wise is paid out of the food contract, which is a budgeted line item within my budget this year. So it's paid that way, but we have payments that come in that goes back.
okay.
So they reimburse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pay for it.
And if it's someone that's not on a subsidized meal program, their price is, what'd you say?
It's $3. Yep.
And for an entree?
$1.50.
Or for a side, I'm sorry,
$1.50.
$4.50?
No, $1.50.
Right, but
So, yeah.
totally you'd have $4.50 for that meal?
Yeah, if they wanted to add both, an entree and a side dish, yeah, it would be $4.50 extra. And we do have that.
And what's the price of a meal for an unsubsidized?
A subsidized meal is $4.
Unsubsidized.
Oh, unsubsidized, $8 for everyone.
If I'm doing the math, I can go through and get an entree and get a side and save myself $3.50.
But it wouldn't be on the subsidized program. So, and that's just a contribution program. They pay whatever they can afford.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Yeah, come see me.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Any question or comments from the public? I'll bring it back for discussion or possible action.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve RFA 2025-47 as presented by Rosie.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve RFA 2025-47 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
Rosie, before you leave, Mr. Chairman, I got a question. You know, we're talking about contracts. And I guess my question and this is not to bring anything against against you folks at the at the senior center, do a fantastic job. Couldn't have a better crew over there. My concern is are we using staff right now to fill in for people that are not, for the contract that is not being fulfilled completely, is what I'm saying.
You mean on the food line?
On the food line.
Yeah. So they have been short-staffed right now. They've had some staff difficulties. So we have used our staff just to get our seniors through the line. So without us helping, they would sit in that line for
And I know that's your number one priority, is to take care of those folks out there. But my problem is they signed a contract, and we should not be staffing anything that has to do with that contract. They need to step forward, no matter what it is, get people in there, get it taken care of, where we don't have to pay our staff to staff what we're already paying a contract for.
No, and I definitely do agree. And fortunately, they've hired 2 additional staff members. So I think that is going to be remedied as of right now. So
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, you guys do a fantastic job. You got a great staff over there.
Thank you.
And they're top notch.
Yeah.
And I know you guys take very, very good people, take care of the people very well over there, and you're very well respected over there.
Oh, well, thank you.
But I don't want to see our staff abused, having to do work when we pay a contracted a bunch to do that. And why should we be up there doing it?
No, and we are very busy anyway. So, it's made an impact on all of us when they're short-staffed. So I'm thankful that they've got enough staff now to take care of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments by the commission? Any comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll bring it back for discussion.
We already did that.
We already did that? Oh, yeah, that's right. You got back into that, and I'm thinking, what are we doing that? Yeah.
It was
Thank
5
you.
minutes ago.
Yeah, because, at this age, things happen, so don't ever be jumping in there like that again. You had your chance. Okay, next item.
Revised CEOB agreement for Workforce One with Philip Smith Haynes, County Administrator.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Saline County is one of 62 counties in central and western Kansas that are part of a designated local area 1 for the national workforce system. Most folks know Kansas Workforce One is the local workforce provider. They have recently reorganized and added 17 additional counties to their service area, primarily around the Topeka area. And so we need to just update the contract to reflect the addition of those additional 17 counties. So there's no cost to the county. It's all federal funds. The only way we would be on the hook is if they were somehow convicted of fraud, and then the counties would have a contribution. But on an ongoing basis, it's all federal funding. So staff would recommend that the commission authorize the chair to sign the amended agreement, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
This is just bookkeeping.
Yep. Any other comments? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll bring you back for for the possible action.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve RFA 2025-48 as presented.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve RFA 2025-48 as presented. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item.
Lincoln County Mutual Aid Agreement with Michelle Wise, Emergency Management Director.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I am here on behalf of Lincoln County. They have a mutual aid agreement that they would like to be signed and entered in with all public safety entities of Saline County. So for a little background, all counties in Kansas are part of the Kansas Mutual Aid Act system. The only way you can get out of it is if you opt out of it. So if you do nothing, you're automatically in it. That basically goes over the shared personnel that would respond to a locally declared disaster. This includes equipment and other resources, basically stating that if there is a declared disaster and we were to go assist another county, if that does proceed up the chain of command to go to the state and then a federally declared disaster, we could reimburse or get reimbursed for our time and equipment. If it is not, then the funds are essentially on us. This agreement with Lincoln County is just to form as a redundancy, essentially, with a little bit more flexibility and leniency for our first responding agencies, in the sense that if we have other agencies out of county responding to something, we can opt out of the request for assistance. It also takes into account that we can determine the level of support instead of just being asked and requesting a certain number or type of resource. We can counter that with a little bit more leniency and provide a different solution to maybe the request that was given to us. Essentially, this agreement would be for 5 years, and we can opt out of it with a 30-day written notice. Personally, I've looked through it. It is no different than the Kansas Mutual Aid Act. It is just, like I said, a redundancy with a little bit more leniency for our first responders. Any questions?
Well, Michelle, if let's say your hazmat task force here in Saline County needs to go into Lincoln County, that's part of their region anyway, correct?
Correct, unless it comes from tasking orders from the Fire Marshal's office.
Okay, and that reimbursement would be through the state?
If they are tasked through the Fire Marshal's office, then yes, the state would reimburse it. If it is through mutual aid in the sense that Lincoln County just called us directly and there is no state entity involved, then it is on the hazmat team to pick up the cost.
So if Lincoln had a heavy rescue need and they asked for Saline County to respond?
Yep. I would imagine that would be something that they could potentially declare for. If they did do that, it would then become a state thing, and if they were tasked there, then they would be reimbursed by the state.
Okay.
Essentially, it's just that simple administrative piece of declaring a local disaster when you have something like that that exceeds your local level of ability.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Any comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll bring it for discussion with possible action.
Chairman, I'd move that we approve RFA 2025-42 as presented by Michelle.
Second the motion.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve RFA 2025-42 as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move.
Oh, you're not done with me yet.
Oh. Okay, number 2.
First quarter emergency management update for 2025 with Michelle Wise, Emergency Management Director.
Good morning. again.
Morning.
Morning. Informational items. Thank you.
So diving right into it, I figured some of you might be interested in the rotation track for the storm that we had last Tuesday. The National Weather Service went and mapped the rotating wall cloud that we had that started in Ellsworth County and went through just north of Fallon and the city of Smolin through the Smoky Hill bombing range and proceeded to travel right over the city of Salina and just shift north of New Cambria between New Cambria and Niles, where that storm continued up into Dickinson and Clay County. So we did end up we were put in 2 tornado warnings last Tuesday. The sirens were set off for both Brooklyn, Fallon, New Cambria, and the city of Salina. Approximately 25,000 people were warned. If you're looking at that and thinking there's obviously more people in the city of Salina, the warned amount does not equal the people that got the siren set off. The way that our tornado siren system is set up is we divided the city of Salina into north and south, but in this storm, we were only warning the west side of the city of Salina. So unfortunately, everyone got it just the way that the map fell. That also goes to say that we did not set off Asaria, Kip, or Gypsum just due to the fact that the storm was north of them. And in my personal opinion, if I'm setting off the sirens, I would like you to act on it. If I set them off just because it's cool and there's something going on in the county somewhere miles from you, I feel like we will lose the effect that I'm trying to get from that. Next, some of the projects that we are working on. We do have one mobile command post at this time right now. We are looking to renovate that and update it just so it is a little bit more feasible in the sense that if we do have a incident much like having a tornado take out a significant city within the county, we would be able to fit more jurisdictions within that mobile command post. We are looking at, obviously, 2 different specs. The one on the right is a trailer that the Mounted Patrol Rescue Squad that the Sheriff's Office has repurposed. It is now empty, and they are looking to convert that also into a mobile command post. So essentially, we would have the luxury to have 2. If you look back at the map that we had previously, the entire city of Salina, when GIS took that and mapped it out, is essentially taken out except for the very north and the very south portion. So with having 2 trailers, we could put command posts on both ends of the city if need be. What we've done in this past quarter, we've had a plethora of weather presentations, which kind of pains me with the number of phone calls that we got from citizens last Tuesday regarding what actions they should take in that 15 minutes that they had before the storm hit. So we did present to over 100 people at Storm Ferry on the Plains. We did have a smaller group that focused on tornado genesis, which is essentially the theory that if you have 2 storm cells that merge together, the likelihood of them producing a tornado of an EF2 or higher is at a greater possibility than if 2 storm cells just continued on the same path and were to produce their own tornado. We also then did present to at the library, and we did have another severe weather talk to a smaller group of individuals. We did have Animal Alliance training. We've hosted 2 of them so far. So the Animal Aid Alliance will fall under the Community Emergency Response Team as an additional entity of service that we will provide the community during a disaster. The Community Emergency Response Team did host a first aid and CPR course. So if we do end up deploying them to assist with search and rescue, or debris cleanup. They do have first aid, or are trained in first aid. We did also host a watch party. Netflix created a documentary over the Greensburg tornado, so we went over and we watched that. If you have not, and you have an hour and a half of your life, I do implore you to watch it. It is very insightful. Outreach, we did go to Kansas Wesleyan for a career fair. We are looking for an intern, and we were successful. We did pick one up for this summer. We also did have Alyssa go to County Day at the Capitol, where we basically talked with legislation about the upcoming legislative acts that could potentially impact incident command on the local level based on some of the decisions that they're talking about. We did create preparedness videos. Got it. Okay. So if you are interested in going to a movie here recently, we do have our preparedness videos playing at the movie theater. They go over all sorts of topics, from the first 72 are on you, from business continuity to building an emergency kit. This one in particular did get some volunteers from county employees to participate. And lastly, just an update on rural fire. District 7 did receive their new fire truck. They are not calling it a brush truck just due to the sheer size of it. I think it is almost double the size of what a typical brush truck would be. District 6 is still being discussed on the generator grant that they have and did submit through FEMA. Yesterday there was notice put out about the BRIC grant, which is what this falls under, about some of those projects being clawed back. So we are now just kind of waiting to determine if this project will be covered under that grant for reimbursement or not. If it is not, District 6 does have the funds to cover the expenses that they've put out so far. Additionally, the Saline County Wildfire Task Force that we created last year has been activated once this quarter to assist in a wildfire on a very high fire danger day within Saline County. The fire districts have done 117 med calls so far this quarter and 71 fire calls. Are there any questions?
Michelle, I noticed that you had done a 800 megahertz presentation.
Yes.
Update. We haven't heard anything lately. How is the 800 megahertz working in the county?
Very well. I will say that we have more coverage than we have in the past. We, as in me and Hannah, got a wonderful email last week, and the state K6 system, which is the state's radio system, is looking to get updated here shortly, which again makes me grateful that we did our own thing and created our own system. But we will be in talks with that to continue to see how that'll impact the coverage, because not only do we use the 3 towers that we built within Saline County, but we do use the surrounding towers to just support and boost the signal that we have for the fire districts that border and respond into those other counties, as well as for the sheriff's office.
And we're hearing some rumors and such with the KHP headquarters, and I know that we have a repeater there on their tower.
We have the tower.
We own that tower.
So we own the equipment on the site.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that protected if an ownership should change there at KHP?
Gonna go with no. It would probably be a negotiation with whoever would take that over. I did raise that when we were talking with KHP when we were in Topeka for Saline at the State House. I did reiterate to them the importance of that particular tower. So,
okay. Well, thank you.
And you listed on your plans coming up, you got some lithium-ion battery training.
Yes.
3 days of that.
Yes.
Who's going to be doing that training?
In regards to who's hosting it or who's participating?
Who's presenting it?
So we have a contractor coming in to do it. Bad Days Training is providing The state is doing lithium-ion battery training, but it's 8 hours in seat, just due to our volunteer and first responder schedules. 4 hours is a little bit more probable of getting them to skip out on their daily requirements. So they will be doing more hands-on training for that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next item.
Treasurer's Idle Fund Report with Anthony Newell, Accountant and County Treasurer-elect.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Anthony Newell presenting on behalf of Jim Du Bois today. I'm the County Treasurer-elect, as Jamie said, and current accountant with the county. Today I'll be presenting the first quarter idle fund report for our office for the period ending Monday, March 31st of 2025. Starting from the top and working down, total funds available for investment for this period were $56,137,098.29. That's up 2.11% year over year from a top line perspective. As you can see, our regular bank account accounts for 81.06% of our total investments. That 81.06% of distribution landed us $248,268.29 for our regular bank account for the quarter. Total interest earned for the quarter in all accounts for Q1 on idle funds was $687,819.87 compared to the 2024 Q1 earnings of $246,922.66. This past quarter, we experienced an overall increase of $44,897.21 in idle funds earnings. The difference between the two is 6.89% over the same period last year. With that, I will stand for questions.
Do I have any? Anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
Engineering Quarterly Update with Justin Mader, County Engineer.
Morning, Commissioners. So here I am going to give my update. This is from the updates from January of this year. So I'll start with the accomplishments that we've had since then. I have on here that we completed our biennial bridge inspections, but due to some rain and other weather events, we had to push that back. But we should be finishing up our biennial bridge inspections this week. And so these are our required inspections on bridge length structures, so anything more than a 20-foot span. That's very regulated by the Federal Highway Department. Next, on our Waterwell Road Bridge project, and so this is the project that's just east of Gypsum Valley Road. The bridge piers and the slab, they've all been constructed. And so right now, all the contractor has left is, for the bridge itself, is the bridge rails, and they're currently working on those now. And then we'll just have our grading. There's some pipes that need to be installed and guardrail. And so that should be finishing that project up. Next is our reinforced concrete box construction projects that we're working through the design. So we finally acquired all of the right-of-way. We're working on the utility relocations. We thought we had all those taken care of, and then the new Next-Tech line, we've got conflicts on that new line on 2 sites, so we'll have to work through that. Next is our 2025 crack seal and chip seal projects. Those are currently being advertised. And then we did approve our traffic paint and beads. So the traffic paint was awarded to Diamond Vogel for a little over $102,000, and the traffic beads was awarded to Jonas Enterprises for $30,240. And then finally, as far as the accomplishments go, is our pipe culverts. So we did approve those bids. The pipe was awarded to Wilborn Sales for $24,770, and then the end sections was awarded to J&J Drainage for $10,933. So next I'll move on to our projects that we're working on. So up on the screen here is our 2025 proposed road and bridge program for this year. So I'll just start off with the reinforced concrete box project. So I mentioned here in this little while ago that the right-of-way's done. We're working on some utilities, but I'm hoping to have those 6 sites out for bid, to start that advertising process here next month. And so we can push those out. And this year, I'm kind of expecting a construction time frame, and it'll be really late this year, early next year. So usually, how we award all of our projects. As far as the construction time frame, we give a contractor a big window, and they can decide which site they complete, but once they start, they'll have 2.5 months to get it done. So that's kind of how that goes. Next is our Schipper Road reinforced concrete box and Simpson Road improvements. This project was awarded to Reese Construction for $309,501.60. This project will have $200,000 of reimbursement through the ARPA program. And I did get an update a few days ago. They're thinking that the dirt contractor is actually going to go and start removing trees next week. This dirt contractor is maybe not the most reliable, so I'm not going to hold my breath, but there's a chance that something might start on that, and so which is exciting. Next is a Waterwell Road, bridge construction project that I talked about earlier. In this one here, I'm thinking that the completion date's probably going to be in June for that there. Next is our pipelining projects on the map. That's the green circles with the stars in it. So we got 21 pipe locations, and this is actually a 2024 contract. Mayor Specialty Services was awarded that contract for $554,463.95. And they've been kind of on hold waiting for the PVC liners to be constructed. And so right now the scheduled delivery date for the liners is May 5th, with those liners to be installed a couple weeks after that. However, before even that happens, the liners, we need to extend the pipes. And so I got word that Smoky Hill Construction is going to be doing the pipe extensions, possibly starting this week. And so it'd be nice to have some movement on that as well. Next, I'll move on to our asphalt maintenance program. I'll start off with our hot mix asphalt overlay and patching. That's the black line on the map. So we plan on doing Waterwell Road from Ohio Street to the Smoky Hill River Bridge, and then Burma from Smolin Road to Salinsburg Road. I'm hoping to have the design on that project wrapped up this week. I'm wanting to do a little improvements on Burma and Salinsburg. There's a correction curves through there, and I'm hoping to make some improvements on the super elevation through that curve. So that's why it's taken a little bit longer this year to kick that out. Next is our chip seal program, and that's the blue line on the map. This year we've got planned 44 miles of chip seal and 12.7 miles for a scrub seal. And we're going to open those bids on April 22nd. And so just to let you know, like a scrub seal is a very similar process to the chip seal, where the contractor sprays down oil and then you put the aggregate rock on top of that. However, this is just a different oil. It's a rejuvenating oil, but really it's an oil with a high polymer for a road with a lot of cracks. And so the roads that we're going to do that on is the Brookville Road from K140 all the way to the North County line. There's just a lot of open cracks along that road, and so this is just kind of a crack seal and chip seal all in one. Moving on to our crack seal, we bid out 20,000 pounds of seal material this year, and we're actually going to open those bids here at 11 o'clock today. And so we'll see what our prices are on that one. Our aggregate shoulder, which is usually a green line on the map, which you probably don't see a green line, we don't pick those sites until after the fall harvest. There's a lot of farming activity that'll cause a lot of shoulder drop-offs, and so we wait until after that type of operations to come through, and then we'll figure out which roads we need to do a shouldering project. Next is a road improvement project is Ohio Street. And so this improvement is going to extend from the Minner Road to Waterwell Road, and we're going to elevate the road, add rock, and then a chemical stabilizer. I've been working with some utilities to get those relocated, but I do want to talk to you a little bit about that. Could you go to the next slide, Aaron? Let's see if I can get this to work here. So something I just want to bring up. This pointer does not work on the screen. So, all right, we're going to forget that. So what we've got going on is KDOT has 2 bridge projects going on right now at the same time. So they've got the Assyria Interchange Bridge tore out, but then they're also working on the bridge really just east of the intersection of K104 or Old 81 Highway and K4. And so on that site there, you know, they've got everything down to 1-lane traffic to get through there. And so there's 4 stoplights, temporary stoplights there to push traffic through. And it's a little narrow. And so we're thinking, you know, people are turning. So the ones that are going westbound on K4, instead of going through that mess at the intersection, they're heading north on Ohio Street to get into town. And so, you know, we're thinking, it's like, well, is this the best time to be closing Ohio Street, where people could be using that road, you know, to get around the KDOT projects and causing even more frustration? And so what we did is I had our guys go out and get some traffic counts, some current traffic counts, and we do have some past traffic counts, and that kind of tells how much more traffic is using those roads. And so we had 2 different locations where we took traffic counts. One was on Ohio Street, just north of McReynolds, and the other one was just north of Minner Road on Ohio Street. It's not very clear on how much more traffic is using it, because it varies quite a bit. But on the just north of McReynolds, you know, you're looking at a traffic count of around 200 vehicles a day during the weekdays. The last count that we had was in 2023, and we had a count of 96. So you think there's a big jump in traffic there. However, back in 2016, we had a traffic count of 250. So it's about the same as what it was in 2016, but quite a bit more than the traffic count in 2023. And then north of Minner, you know, the traffic counts, you know, they range from 160 to 200 to 260 vehicles a day. And the latest count we had in 2023 was 154. You know, so there it does look like there's a big jump, but it kind of depends on the day. You know, so it's kind of hard to tell how much traffic is using that. So I do want to give this an opportunity, if you commissioners had any thoughts on closing that road down to construct this year, you know, with all the KDOT projects. And it's something, too, you can also think about, and I can come back and we can talk about whether we want to move forward with this project or not this year. You know, because then the other option is just to push it off until next year to do that work.
Can I ask, what do you see as the emergency need in getting it done this year versus next year? Is there a critical need?
No, I would say it's not a critical need. You know, there's a lot of, you know, with American Sand, there is a lot of traffic going up and down just from that. You know, so which also does, you know, add to the traffic count, you know, especially north of Minner, you know, that the 2023 count didn't have. You know, and so there's definitely, you know, that road has had some flooding issues and dust issues, you know, bad dust issues. And so, but it's been like that for quite a while. So nothing's really changed to where it's critical that we get it done this year. Mm-hmm. You know, so, but it's just one of those things where if we want to get it done, we can get it done, or we can push it off. But I would just like to have some consensus of the commissioners, because I think it's, no matter what, when you close a road, there's going to be some, people in the public that are upset. But I think there's a chance that they could be really upset this year.
Yeah, I would hate to close it if people are utilizing it. I mean, it sounds like your traffic numbers are kind of all over the place, but if they're utilizing it because of the other two construction sites, and if it can wait, if it's not something you see as critical, I trust you and would hate to do it.
I mean, they can, as they're going north on Ohio Street, instead of going all the way to Waterwell, we could phase out, this project goes from, so Minter Road there's an offset of those two intersections with Ohio Street. We're taking this Ohio Street project, improvement project, all the way to the bridge, okay? And so there's a small section from the one Minter intersection to the bridge of the cutoff channel through there. People could turn off and go down Minter Road and over to 81 too. So I mean, there's a way around it, but it's just more change.
It sounds like it. If I was out there doing that, I might be a little bit angry that we got construction everywhere, and if it's not critical, I would just soon you wait.
And I agree with Commissioner Grievous. Like she said, if there's already one project going now, let's don't throw another wrench into it and put another project in there that's going to cause any problem, and go ahead and see if we can't put it off until next year and move on to there.
What's the time frame on the bridge replacement?
It's that one on
Reynolds
on K4 and Old 81 right there. So they're building that project half at a time, and so it is definitely going to be under construction all year.
But they still can move traffic, correct?
You can still get through that area, yes. So it's only one leg at a time. So they'll stop the three legs and let one leg through until that clears out, and then they'll do another leg. And so it's a slow process to get through there, but you can absolutely get through.
And the map isn't up again, but what is the other bridge replacement? Is that the one that's impacting the traffic on Ohio?
Well, so I was what I just talked about was at K4 and Old 81.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
So that's the one that I think is really impacting traffic.
All right.
The one on Assyria, well, actually on that side it's Fallen Road, and I-135. That's probably more impacting traffic on Fallen Road on the west side.
Okay, but the traffic on K4 that's utilizing Ohio, that's just a convenience of not having to deal with that.
Yes.
Slow down at the bridge.
I kind of have some green arrows there where traffic patterns could potentially be going.
And what's the time frame that you're thinking your Ohio improvements would take?
This is a project that we haven't really nailed that down, but it's going to take, I would say it's going to take at least 2 months, if not 3 months. So there's a lot of material to be hauled in. Now it's just coming from the American Sand, so it's not a real long process, but it's going to be a slow process moving all of that material, because we're raising 2 miles of road 18 inches. So that's going to be the slow part. Also, that project has to be staged. So a contractor can't come in and just do it all at once. It's got to be staged, to allow the local traffic and the people who are living along there, be able to access their property and get in and out of their houses. And so that slows it down too. So I would say it's going to take at least 3 months.
But it goes without saying that anytime you do a road improvement or there's going to be some type of sacrifice of the public that has access. It's just the nature of the beast.
Correct.
And if you're looking at 2 or 3 months, this has been on our radar to get done for 2 years or more. I guess if you want to push it back another year, fine, but I don't know how large of an impact that really is. People can still use K4. They're just opting not to.
Right, as well as if they're going north, and they hit our road closure on Ohio Street, they can turn and go down Minter as well, and Minter over to Old 81, and then continue north. So there's a ways around, but no matter what, you're going to have people that are upset with the inconvenience.
And I just want to say is like the inconvenience is one of them situations where I would hate for it to be like when the city done Magnolia and the county closed water well there, and you had to go a long ways to get anywhere there for a while. But if there's any way to put it off, I think that'd be the best way to handle that.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so moving on there's really not much of an update on this, but I just added it because it's something that's in our backlog queue, and that's the magnesium chloride containment structure at the Road and Bridge Yard. So that's kind of there, and we haven't had any progress on that, but we'll be working on that as well. The next two categories, I just want to bring this up. So, we had our study session out at the Road and Bridge Yard, and so these are the projects that we kind of talked about as far as my office moving forward with on design. And so the first one there is the future large bridge replacement projects. And when I say large bridge replacement project, I'm not talking about the reinforced concrete boxes. I'm talking about span bridges like the Waterwell Road Bridge that we're doing right now. And so the next priority will be a bridge located really at the intersection of Cloud Street and Gypsum Valley Road. And this is over Gyp Creek, and our bridge inspections that we're finishing up this year has indicated some serious issues with the substructure, the steel pile on that. And then there is a entrance bridge off of South Old 81, and this is actually just south of Lapsley, that we're having some bridge piling on that one as well. So we haven't even looked at that one yet, but it's something that needs to be looked at here very quick. And then our future road improvement projects. So I was given permission to hire a consultant to design the channel bank erosion mitigation project on the Smoky Hill River. This is pretty close to the intersection of Minner Road and Matson Road. Then there's the Crawford Street and Simpson Road intersection where we can improve some the radiuses on that intersection there. And then finally, a project to improve the sight distance at the intersection of Headville and State Street intersection. And then I added a miscellaneous category here. There's a couple items there that I wanted to bring to your attention. So here in May, a company called me for a permit to move a really heavy load across the county. And so this is a transformer that's going to be moved from the city of Salina to the substation at Simpson and McReynolds. And when I say large, I'm talking 300 tons. And that's a heavy, heavy, heavy load. And we were working with a consultant to do the load ratings on some bridges to make sure that the structures can handle that type of load. And so we kind of worked through all of that, and I went ahead and gave them a permit to do that. And so that's going to happen here in May. One of these, really long. I mean, I don't know how many axles there's underneath of them, so it's going to be quite a sight to see that thing maneuver through town and through the county. And then finally, Next Tech's going to be installing a fiber optic line along Country Club. It's going to start around the Schooler elevator area and go east, I think it's to Kip Road. But then they're also going to hit the side roads, like Simpson Road. They're going to go south, in front of all those houses, pretty close to where the fire station is, south of Country Club. But then they're going to hit all the side roads, all the subdivisions through there, and so there's going to be quite a few people impacted. Next Tech is just finishing up their installation on their project kind of northwest of town. And, there's lots of lessons learned on that one there on such a big install project. And I added about 2 pages of additional requirements for this future project. Stuff you would think is just common sense. It's not common sense, so we better just write it down and make sure that they follow that. So that's going to be happening here pretty soon as well. And then finally, something I'll just bring up, that this came about yesterday, that's going to happen potentially tomorrow. So there is the construction work on along Waterwell and around Centennial, and they need to push a sewer line underneath Waterwell. Well, they forgot that there's a 24-inch water line underneath water well that they're not sure where that's at. And so the city's going to have to shut down water well and kind of reroute traffic for about a day so they can do some exploratory digging to try to find a water line, because they do not want to hit a 24-inch water line. So Water Well Road will be shut down for a day, and hopefully everything goes as planned, and it'll be just a day closure. So, but if you hear, someone screaming that Water Well Road is closed, that's kind of what's going on. So, but this is a city project, and actually this is in the area where the city just annexed the new water well, so it's everything is theirs. Even the pavement, they got to fix the pavement afterwards. That's their baby. So, but that's kind of what's going on. So now I'll move on to just a budget update. So for a contractual asphalt, here we're looking at our asphalt overlay, chip seal, crack seal, and our shouldering. I'm working on a budget of about $3.46 million, and that's coming from 2.8 from our contractual asphalt budget line item in the budget. Every year you've allowed me to use our federal fund exchange money to go towards this, and so I'm hoping we can continue that. And so I got $210,000 from that program, and then I'd also like to use $450,000 either coming from our 127, which is our special highway improvement program, or our 440 account. Our 440 account is our landfill impact fund. So every year we get money from the city, just due to the impact that our roads receive from that, from the landfill. And so I would like to use, $450 from those accounts there to help cover the costs. And so right now, I've got an estimated construction cost of about $3.3 million. So as bids come in, we'll be able to tighten that down. Hopefully that should be, somewhat conservative a little bit. I always try to be a little bit conservative, but not too much. But we're going to start opening up bids and be able to see really how those projects come in cost-wise. So just some balances on the account. So our 124 account, which is our special road construction, or we refer to as 1 mil. However, this year it's only funded at a $0.5 mil. We have a balance of about $2.2 million. Our 125 account, which is our special bridge construction, or 2 mil, that has a balance of about $1.5 million. And this is where our reinforced concrete box projects, our haunt slabs, pipelining, pipe purchases, that's where those monies comes from. Our 127 account is a special highway improvement. It has a balance of a little over $2.7 million, and then our 440 account landfill impact fee has a balance of about $853,000 on that. So, and on that one there are landfill impact fees. So this year we received about $250,000 from the city that went into that account. So that's about it. I was very windy this morning, so I apologize for that, but there's lots going on. So anybody have any questions for me?
Yeah, just one really quick question here is your 440 account, that tipping fee balance, is if you're going to use the $853,000 of that, is any of that being used to upgrade the roads that it's meant for?
No, so with that fund, there's actually no requirements on that. We can use that money however we choose.
So whether we use it somewhere else or we come back next year and we have to rebuild Burma or some of these roads going there, it's got to come out of some account anyway.
Right.
Instead of saving this for that.
Right. So it can come out of reconstruction. It can come out of to maintenance. Anything kind of road related, and it's not even really tied to the roads around the landfill. That the trash trucks use. We like to save it and use it on that, but there's nothing in the agreement between the county and city that's where it has to be.
Yeah, gotcha.
So,
okay.
So where are we at right now? I think you're looking for in a search for a new engineer,
a new surveyor. So that's that was a big hit to our office. So the Wayne Scritchfield he's the county surveyor and assistant county engineer. He's going to go work for Lyon County, so as their department head. So I'm excited for him. So we just started advertising, but really what we need is a surveyor, county surveyor. Wayne was both. He is a dual licensed surveyor and professional engineer. That's ideally what I need. However, those are far and few between as people that are dual licensed. So Wayne kind of fit the bill. He was kind of that gem that just checked all the boxes. And so we're probably not going to find another Wayne. And so, but what we need is a land surveyor. So we just started advertising yesterday. And so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County Administrator's update with Philip Smith Haynes, County Administrator.
Good morning again, Commissioners. So, 2 items today. First, the county received an unsolicited offer to locate a data center on county-owned parcels of land at Simpson and McReynolds. So I think I know the answer to this question, but is there any interest by the commission in having staff explore that? And then the second item is just to remind folks, particularly the public, that we will not have commission meetings the next 2 Tuesdays. We will be back here on the 29th. And that's what I had today.
What on that data center there? I mean, what exactly are they talking about? I mean, are they talking about a full-blown data center, or how many square feet, or what?
The letter didn't go into square footage. The draw to that area, as you know, is the substation, and the fact that that substation has multiple lines, and so that's. Obviously, there has been battery energy storage proposed in that same vicinity in the past, not on county land. The county has also been approached, of course, about solar farm at that location, said no to that. So that continues to be sort of a hotbed of potential activity, for lack of a better term, but I think probably not an ideal location to construct a large building that's going to have a lot of traffic draw and so forth. So,
yeah, my thought is there's no city, no water, no sewer, no nothing there. Why a data center? And then that's a dirt road again. And
this is an out-of-state firm, and they clearly just sort of they didn't even put an address on the letter. They put parcel numbers. I had to go look up the parcel, and sure enough, that's the 2 parcels they identified. And I'm like, I don't think they realize that it's a gravel road. So,
okay. Anything else? Next item.
Commissioners' comments?
I really don't have any. Anybody else?
None here.
Next item.
Announcements?
I just got one. I've been telling everybody we got a groundbreaking ceremony at Brookville for the new fire station at 10 o'clock Saturday morning. If you haven't got anything else to do, come out and watch the new groundbreaking for the new Fire District 3 station at Brookville.
Okay.
With that, we do have a series of executive sessions. There are actually 3 that staff would request this morning under 2 different exceptions. So first, would request that we go into executive session for 10 minutes. Call it 10. 7 minutes. How about 7 minutes? We'll go into executive session under the non-elected personnel exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act for the purpose of discussing performance evaluation of a department head and reconvene in this room at 10:21.
So moved.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, no action taken. We have another executive.
Yeah, staff would request that the commission recess into executive session under the land acquisition exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act to have a conversation about preliminary discussions regarding the acquisition of real property for 3 minutes and reconvene in this room at 10:24 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Maybe you have a beautiful bride that would like to have a couple pair.
There you go.
No action. We're back into regular session.
And finally, last and hopefully least, staff would request a second executive session under the under the land acquisition exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act for the purpose of discussing potential acquisition of a separate parcel of real property for 10 minutes and reconvene in this room at 10:35 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Huh?
No.
Okay. Sorry, no action taken, and we're back in regular session. Any other comments, questions? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries.